Hello, Leon. This is not gonna work. Hello everybody, welcome back to Bennett Does Games, the only show on the internet. And today I will be presenting to you Combots, which is a free-to-play game on Steam. It currently has a pretty small player base, owing to the fact that it's pretty obscure. Or maybe it's the other way around, I don't know. So, what this game is a first-person shooter. You build up your little robot. You can switch between different robot kinds, provided you've unlocked them. These actually play very differently from one another, and I'll talk about them as I see them on the battlefield, because I've only unlocked these two so far, despite having been given access to the premium version of the game, which from what I can tell is $7 to just unlock more colors. Since that's what you're paying for, I might as well just show you the colors. There we go. There's more colors. By default, you only have the bottom row, I believe. I played the game in the entirely free-to-play version first, before going premium, just to get a bit of an impression of what the free-to-play experience is like. Now, let's get into a game. It's relatively quick to load. Every map you'll play in this game will be entirely randomly generated, and I desperately hope that my microphone isn't on. Okay, I'm actually in a game with other real humans, so that's nice. This is Team Deathmatch. As you can see, the graphics are very cartoony and blocky. I actually really like them. I don't think a game about silly robots driving around needs to have the most photorealistic graphics. Somebody just died here, should be careful. Oh gosh. So, first issue with this game, anyone can be any color. Which means that even though the game specifically is like, oh look, blue, that's you, and red, that's the bad guys, the two people that just shot at me were blue and green respectively. So I don't really know why they would decide to do that. I know that customizing the robot's color is a big part of the of the game experience, which is, you know, kind of pathetic if you think about it. 50-something, okay. But, I don't know. This reminds me a lot of Chivalry, which is a game that I stopped playing because everybody started looking the same, and I honestly couldn't tell the difference anymore. Uh-oh. So, as you can see, I have a single weapon equipped. This is the Plasma. Oh, there. Ugh. I thought there was a thing for me to destroy. Nope. Okay. Unfortunately, the way you unlock weapons in this game is by just clicking on them in the menu and spending obscene amounts of currency on them. I did not know what I was in for. Had I known that it was a slow fire, long distance weapon, I would have probably just not bought it. But all it told me was the firing speed, the max energy, and the damage, but not really anything else. It didn't even have any flavor text telling me that it's the perfect weapon for long-range engagements. Now you're going to be noticing that I die a hell of a lot in this game, and oh, Leon, calm down, come on. And that is partially because the AI, the bots, have everything unlocked by default, and pretty much just spawn with a random loadout every time they die, at least from what I can tell. Ah! Again, like, how was I supposed to know that this is a bad guy? It's blue. Blue isn't usually the bad guy color. Oh, okay. Come on. Come on. There we go. And I think you've pretty much seen everything the game has to offer. I dislike the fact that some characters, some players, will just be inherently stronger than you because they've unlocked everything. All I've unlocked so far, and that's after, I think, 2.5 hours of playing and having the 25% XP boost from the premium code that I received, is this weapon that I don't really like. These turrets that I can throw down every now and again, and a different robot chassis. And the fact that it takes so long to unlock anything is, tied to the fact that it's a free-to-play game, obviously. And, they gotta make their money somehow. And the best way they're gonna do that is by... Oh, I have to adjust the microphone. It's falling over. It's falling over. Oh, gosh. Hang on. Ah! Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. A very professional setup. I'm not sitting in the living room in my underwear at all. This is all professional. Ah! Okay. Wait. There we go. So, obviously, it's going to take a while to unlock things. That's just how it do. So you can see here, shield. You can throw that down for... you can throw that down instead of a turret. It costs 1,000 points to unlock. If you wait for the next match will start countdown to end, it is actually just going to kick you back to the main menu. So you might as well just return to main menu manually. Now, it's fine for games to, especially free-to-play games, to have a lot of stuff for the player to unlock. You need to monetize the game somehow, and gradually unlocking new gear can actually be a really engaging way to keep going and going and going. I know I've spent way too much time in Uncharted 3 multiplayer just to unlock stuff. Now, as you can see, I don't have a module. These are really powerful. Reduce damage taken by 25% for 10 seconds, increase damage, increase accuracy, increase energy, which is your ammo that slowly recharges, become invisible for 10 seconds, and teleport. Those abilities are incredibly strong. And you can see here that teleport costs 10,000 points to unlock, which is a lot. It takes a long time to get that many points if you're not doing very well at the game. If you score top of the leaderboard, which I've done a couple of times, you get a solid 2,000 points, and it's great-ish. You'll be able to afford 1/4 of the invisible perk module. And it keeps coming back to that I don't get to try any of these before buying them. I bought the grenade launcher that I completely forgot about. I unlocked it earlier. And it sucks. I expected a weapon with an explosion radius that I can use to fire singular, relatively high-powered projectiles into crowds. Now, obviously, I did see that the damage is 2 out of, I believe, 4? 5. 5 seems to be the highest damage. But, I don't know, I didn't really think anything of it. And then if you compare that to the laser, which deals 1 damage, which is the basic weapon that you start with, and I can actually show you this. I can actually... Okay, I'm just not going to use my gadget at all. Let's try to get into another match. Which fortunately happens quite quickly, since there's always bots filling out the server pretty much at all times. Okay, let's see. This is the experience that I had starting this game. You roll around, and you're looking for enemies. And then when you see them, you're going to uselessly shoot at them with your tiny-ass pea shooter, which is not very fun to use, has terrible range, well, it has fine range, but it has terrible accuracy. And I'm getting attacked. I'm getting attacked from where? I don't know. From above? From over there? Okay. Now, the one thing I will say is actually pretty cool about the game is that the 4 different base robot models do play very differently. Like this one you can see actually has tank controls. If I wanted to... While the base thingy unicycle guy just controls like a regular first-person shooter character would. This thing, on the other hand, can't jump, but has a ton of health, and its base weapon is this minigun, which I think is a really, really fun weapon to use. So why do I even bother going back to the base model, whatever it's called? I have no idea. The unicycle, let's call it that. Well, the reason I would go back to that unicycle is because anything you unlock is tied to the model of robot that you're using currently. So I thought, hey, okay, before upgrading to a different model, let's just get like a better gun. And then let's get a gadget to use. And then I'll upgrade to the tank model, and I'll be able to use all of these other upgrades that I bought previously, and that'll be great. But as you can see, the turret isn't unlocked, and neither is the plasma nor the grenade launcher. Everything has to be unlocked on a per individual little... Okay, this one's called gear. Alright. On an individual robot chassis basis. Which just feels like a massive waste of time, honestly. I don't think the game is mechanically engaging enough. There really isn't much you do. You just kind of roll around, and when you see an enemy, you try to flank them. Or alternatively, you just die because you didn't have a chance to get around them. And that's it. And the AI is relatively competent when it comes to shooting, but nothing else. It will just occasionally get stuck on walls. It'll have a really hard time capturing the flag when you're playing that game mode. But it is absurdly good at shooting you, to the point that if you launch a turret anywhere near an AI, it will instantly lock on to the turret while it's still in midair and destroy it pretty much instantly. And that's just kind of ridiculous. There's no way to adjust the difficulty of the AI, and since it starts with all the gear you could ever want, and it knows how to use all the different robot types perfectly, you're just kind of screwed for the first hour and a half of gameplay. There just isn't much you can do. I'm not used to this grenade launcher. I don't know how to hit anything with it. So you just spend a lot of time crashing into enemies repeatedly and then hoping that the 2 or 3 points you gain from... Well, not 2 or 3. The 200 or 300 points you gain from being last on the leaderboard. Yeah, there you go. 400 points with a 25% bonus. And this pace of unlocking things would be acceptable. See, it just kicks you out because it doesn't have dedicated servers, which is fine. It's a small game. But the fact that you have to painstakingly... If I wanted to play a support gear, I would have to unlock Tesla to heal allies, which takes 10,000 points to get to. And that's not even accounting for getting the health upgrade for 1,000, or invisible for 8,000, and then teleport for 10,000, or getting the railgun, which very clearly, I mean, all of its stats are maxed out. I don't know what its weakness is, honestly. Does it have a lower fire rate? I don't know. I have no idea. It's really hard to tell the weapons apart when you're being shot at. And then there's, of course, the problem that even when you've unlocked a turret for gear, you don't get to carry it over to the drone. I thought, hey, that'd be cool. I unlock the turret, then I play as a drone, I fly over everybody, and then I drop turrets on top of short houses or trucks or cars to catch enemies by surprise. Can't do that because I would have to collect the whatever 7,000 points it takes to unlock the drone, and then I would have to unlock the turret again, and then I would have to unlock weapons for the drone again, and it's just really tedious. And the fact that all the maps are randomly generated seems pretty neat at first, since it's a very slow and tactical game. The levels don't need to be very intricately designed, so to say. It's fine. I actually kind of like the idea of a game that relies more on positioning and teamwork than it does on twitch shooting, because I'm not very good at aiming with a mouse. I'm just not. Alright, capture the flag. Not capture the flag, capture the points, doofus. So, you walk up to a point and then you sit there. Nice. And what you're seeing here really is the entire gameplay experience that you get with Combots. It's really as simplistic and simple as that. I think if you have kids who really want to play a shooter game, this is fine. I think it's perfectly functional. I like the fact that it's fairly tactical. It's all about spotting enemies and then giving them the runaround, because if you don't, you'll just get blown up. But I wonder to what extent that is just fighting against the AI, because you can't beat them in a straight firefight. Not only because they have basically perfect aim most of the time, but also because they have all the power-ups in the world, and you don't. Now, let's just follow around one specific type of drone, if I can find one. There is one on my team right now. I just need to find them. There we go. So there's these spider guys, and they can walk on walls and have way more hit points than the thing that I'm currently rocking, if you will, the gear. And that just makes me want to try out the different robot types. I honestly think the 4 basic robots should just be unlocked from the start. It's kind of ridiculous to have to save up tons of points to buy an entirely new control scheme and then find out that you just hate it. You just absolutely hate that particular robot. I don't like the track robot, the big bulky tanky ones. I don't like them. I prefer to be slightly faster than that, even though it's basically ridiculously overpowered to have more than double the health of a lot of other units in the game. To have more health than anyone else in the game. And have this minigun that absolutely tears through enemies. It's great. Ultimately, what it comes down to for me with this game is, would I play it instead of anything else? And the answer to that is just flat out no. I think the game is cute, and I think if you got 8 people in a lobby together, you could actually have some fun with it. But as it stands, you're most likely just going to go up against the same bots over and over again with their bizarre slapdash random builds, which, you know, I kind of like that they have those, but I don't have the ability to put up a shield. I don't have the ability to teleport. And so long as I don't have these abilities, I can't really compete, even if sometimes the AI is completely brain dead. And the final nail in the coffin for me is just the fact that you start with the weakest of the bots. You would think that you start with one that's balanced, that doesn't really have any weaknesses, but you start with one that is very squishy. It's not as squishy as the flying drone, but it still dies really quickly compared to the 2 other ground units. And you're wondering, like, what advantage does this robot have compared to the others? And yeah, it moves slightly faster, which means it can get, you know, slightly faster to a point and then stand there, which is very exciting. And it can jump. And yeah, the spider bot can jump too, and it can also run up walls. So why would I want to play this fucking loser? The fact that it costs $16 to unlock everything in this game is interesting to me, because I would not recommend spending that much money on the game. And the fact that you can get the premium version for $6, I can see spending $6 on this with a couple of friends, or I don't know, maybe even a school, if you want to set up an FPS tournament in your school without any violence, then this is probably a good way to go. But I just don't see the point. I've never played Roblox, but I imagine this is just a less open version of that game, or that entire platform. So, yeah. I'm struggling to say anything else about this game. I don't think it's bad at all. I don't think it does anything terribly outside of the fact that people who play more or people who bought the full version are flat out stronger than you. These 3 tanks are all more powerful than I'll ever be, probably. It is really discouraging to a new player, which is what I am, despite having sunk way too much time into this game, because I wanted to give it a fair shake. But in the end, it all comes down to the fact that the first hour and a half of this game was absolutely miserable. I only had the shitty little laser, which, yeah, works fine against gears and drones, and I can't believe I'm actually learning what all these bots are called. But as soon as a track or one of those spider thingies comes along, there you go, I didn't learn all of them, you're just toast. You can't do anything. Its accuracy is so horrible, you have to drive right up to the enemy to actually score any hits. Uh-oh. And by the time you reach them, you're dead. So have fun being at the bottom of a leaderboard that's entirely dominated by bots for the first hour and a half of this game. After that, it gets a little more enjoyable. I I started having a lot more fun as soon as I unlocked the turret, because the thing is stupidly overpowered if you put it in the right place. I got a quadruple kill with that thing once. And I wasn't even looking. I didn't even realize that there were enemies there. Oh, that's an ally. But I don't see a world in which anyone would play this game and then feel encouraged to keep playing it. And I think it's as simple as that. I forced myself to put a couple of hours into it, and I'm honestly baffled that I managed to. It's cute. It's a cute little student project, if that's what it was. It's actually, if that's what it was, it's actually a very competent student project. I like the art on the robots. I like the super polygonal trees. There's a lot to like about it, except for the way you unlock stuff. If this was a free-to-play game and everything was unlocked, but you can earn loot boxes with cool skins, I think kids would be all over that thing. Oh god, I have officially succumbed to the dark side. I just suggested loot boxes. Okay, well, I'm a bad person now. Hey, EA, feel free to send me free games. I like this little turret. I think that's everything I have to say. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for an upcoming review of Fallen Knight, which should be out on the 17th of July. And I'll also be taking a look at Chris Tales, though I don't know whether I'll get a review copy for that. So I'll definitely review it sometime in September at the latest. Thank you very much for watching. My cat is crying. He's in so much pain. And yes, I'm sure. I'll see you next time.